All right, well, hello again, everybody. Now, this is a little bit of a series I'm doing on the BACH Inventions. You've seen me play the BACH Invention number 1 on the piano and the organ. And now later on, I'm a little later in the video, I'm going to point myself and everybody towards Invention 13. But just a little bit more about number 1 and what are the inventions. The one thing I noticed, I'm going to try to put this in layman's terms. The invention to me, it's kind of like a round. Like if you remember singing row, row, row your boat, da 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 da, and then somebody brings along and sings that behind you while you're singing the next part of the verse, and it kind of works together. In a way, that's sort of what happens with the invention. Now, I'm going to just demonstrate that. The main theme, it opens up with this. Now, as it's doing that, the left hand, it starts out with this little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eight or nine notes, and it's a series of 16th notes, which are very quick, and then a series of 8th notes, which are a little bit slower, and they put a trill in there. Now, as the right hand moves in and starts to play the slower notes, the left hand does exactly the same thing. It plays the exact same scale. Just like singing row, row, row your boat. And then the piece continues to follow that theme and then develop more complex themes as it goes on. If you notice, it did the same thing in C, and then it went up to G, and it did it there on a Mixolydian mode. Okay, so then it does that, and then what does it do? It develops a more complex theme in the right hand. All right, so that's a lot longer than... But it uses a lot of the same, that little climbing the stairs type of scale, da 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 da, just like, only in the other direction. Same thing. Same thing. Now, during this part, the left hand plays a series of 8th notes. Now into this part here, you see that got more and more complex as it went on. Now it goes back, it gets a little bit more on the simple side. It'll go into this, and then the left. Now you'll see the left hand again there is repeating the. And it's really, again, it's doing the same thing. It's doing this little climbing the ladder thing, and now the piece starts to get even a little bit more on the difficult side. The left hand And it actually does that up here. And that part becomes very complex because the hands now, they switch from one hand playing 16th notes, which is the left hand, and then the right hand is playing the 8th notes. Now, both hands are playing 16th notes. Goes back to being kind of simple again. Kind of simple, one hand just answering the other. Then for the end, it gets difficult again. And that's the whole thing. So that's kind of the idea of what the invention does. It's like a round. The one hand sort of follows the other. It starts out with a relatively simple theme, although it is Bach. It's not easy. And then you go in, the themes become more and more complex. They get a little simple, complex, simplify, and in the end, at the finale, that last few measures is pretty difficult. Now, I'm going to look here. Now, the next thing I have over here is Bach's invention number 13. And the reason I went to number 13 is it's kind of similar in the rhythm pattern, in such that the melody is a series of 7/16 notes followed by 4/8 notes. And the left hand then follows with a melody of 8/16 notes followed by 4/8 notes. So again, you have, so for this one, the right hand starts out. And the left hand goes. So you see again, the piece is, it puts itself together. Now, this one I haven't actually put together yet. So part of the reason I'm doing this again is to motivate myself a little bit, to practice, and, to give the people, again, who don't play music, a little glimpse into the world of what happens. Now, there are some people that are great sight readers that could sit down at this piece and just probably rattle through it right off the bat without ever maybe looking at it or heard it before. I'm not one of those people. I have to sit down and pick these things apart. Now, if by the end of this current situation, if I'm sitting down for an hour, who knows? I might end up transfiguring myself and transforming into a great sight reader. Wouldn't that be neat? But again, my goal is to, again, I'm doing this to kind of just make the world a brighter place. And again, I'll repeat myself, take good care of yourself. If you can get out into your backyard or somewhere in the fresh air where you're not coming in contact, get some fresh air. You got to go to the store to get food. Stay away from other people. And I heard this from a doctor. When you come home after being out at the store, take your clothes off after you get inside, right? Make sure you do that inside the house. and put your clothes in the washing machine, run them through a cycle of hot water. Hot soap and water kills this thing. Now, I heard that from a doctor, so I'm not a doctor. I'm just a piano guy. You know, I wash my hands every hour. Wash your hands. And most of all, please, folks, don't spread misinformation and fear. The television and the internet are full of rubbish. This is a temple. We don't put rubbish in the temple, right, folks? Keep healthy in mind, spirit, and body. Do something creative. If you have a guitar or a piano around, and you want to take lessons, I can do them on Zoom. Let me know. You can leave a little thing on the bottom there. And again, be well, folks. Have a great night.